Is it a BB gun?
No, it was a real gun, man. It was just a revolver.
They shot you in the eye.
Christmas is supposed to be a time of joy, family, and togetherness. But for the Waller family, December 25th became a nightmare they could never escape. When Ryan Waller didn't show up for Christmas dinner, his family grew concerned. Their search for answers led them to his home, where they uncovered a scene so horrifying it defied belief. What they didn't know was that their nightmare was just beginning. Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. This is The Prime Crime, where we discover and dissect solved and unsolved criminal cases around the world. Today's case is about Ryan Waller, a young man who endured unspeakable violence and whose life was further shattered by the very people sworn to protect him. This story will make you question how justice is served in cases where negligence becomes as damning as the crime itself. But before we start, we would like to send our condolences to the people affected by the heinous acts committed by these individuals. Ryan Waller was a dreamer, an 18-year-old with a deep passion for music. Born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona, he was a gifted guitarist who hoped to one day make it big. By his side was Heather Kwan, a bright and ambitious 21-year-old studying at the University of Arizona, with dreams of becoming a prosecutor. They had a love story filled with hope and a future waiting to be written. But on Christmas Day 2006, their lives collided with a darkness that no one could have seen coming. When Ryan's parents didn't hear from him, they knew something was wrong. They drove to his house and, after getting no answer at the door, called the police. Hours passed with no response. Finally, just before midnight, officers arrived. They peered through the windows and saw what appeared to be a lifeless body on the couch. Instead of entering immediately to help, they waited for a search warrant. It took an hour for them to break in, and when they did, they were shocked to find Ryan, alive but in a state of confusion, and Heather, tragically deceased. Ryan was dazed and struggling to understand what was happening. The police failure started here when they failed to get Ryan medical attention before they start any interrogation. Instead of following the protocol and helping him, police treated him as a suspect.
You know why you're down here, Ryan? You have no idea why you're down here?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Ryan was interrogated for hours. He was clearly disoriented and in need of immediate medical attention. He couldn't answer basic questions, gave contradictory statements, and even struggled to remember Heather's name.
You know a girl named Heather?
Mm-hmm.
You know Heather's last name?
Mm-hmm.
What is Heather's last name?
The one that lives there right now?
I guess, I don't know. If her name's Heather, what's her last name?
I don't know which name she's trying to use as her last one. She's trying to have a real last as her nickname, so I don't know.
What nickname does she go by?
She probably wants the last name Kyman.
Kyman? How would you spell that? With a K or a C?
K.
Yet, it wasn't until over 6 hours later that someone realized Ryan needed medical attention. By the time he was taken to the hospital, it was too late to prevent the irreversible damage caused by his untreated injuries. Ryan was interviewed for what would have been 6 excruciating hours with 2 bullet holes in his head. Ryan survived the attack, but was left with devastating injuries. He lost an eye, suffered brain damage, and endured a lifetime of seizures. In the years that followed, his family struggled not only with his care, but with the systemic failures that led to his suffering. Now, here's what actually happened at Ryan's apartment on Christmas 2006. That evening, Ryan and Heather were enjoying a quiet Christmas at home. Unbeknownst to them, Richie and Larry Carver, a father-son duo with long criminal records, were planning a robbery. Richie had once lived in the same house and thought he knew its weaknesses. At around 5 p.m., the Carvers broke in. When Ryan tried to block the door, Richie shot him twice in the head. Believing Ryan was dead, they ignored his motionless body and moved on to Heather, killing her instantly. Then, they ransacked the house, stealing electronics and valuables before leaving. The Carvers were eventually arrested and convicted, but justice for Ryan remained elusive. His parents filed a lawsuit against the Phoenix Police Department, arguing that their negligence directly contributed to Ryan's suffering and eventual death in 2016. The case was dismissed, leaving his family without closure. This is a story of unimaginable tragedy compounded by systemic failure. Ryan Waller's resilience in the face of such horror is inspiring, but his story raises unsettling questions about the people and systems we rely on for protection. What do you think? Was this a case of tragic oversight, or something more evil within the police? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching Prime Crime. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more true crime stories that will leave you questioning everything. And as always, stay safe.